Okay, we're going to walk through the process of creating the Classic Walking Adventures newsletter here. What you're looking at on the screen is the finished version of this assignment. As I scroll down, you can see the different things we'll be using. We'll be using some tables. This is a table, and it has a color scheme, and it has some graphics inserted in it, and it kind of goes down right into the third page there. So this is what it's going to look like when it's finished, to give you some reference of, as we move along, are you doing it correctly or not. First thing we need to do, though, is to download the sample file so we can begin work. So go to my website, the computer application website, and scroll down until you find the Classic Walking Adventure assignment, and click on the sample file to open it up. It'll automatically open. And if Word does not pop up automatically, if you already have Word open, if you look on the bottom there, see the little blinking? That's telling me that the file is open in Word, and I have to click on Word in order to bring it up on the screen. So there is the file. First thing we need to do, though, before we do anything, is save it. Because right now we've opened this up from the Internet. And if we change it, none of our changes will be saved. So we have to save it from the Internet to our My Documents folder. So click on the Office button in the upper left-hand corner. Go Save As. Browse to your folder. I'm going to put it in my temporary folder here. But you put it in your computer or apps folder and hit Save. Actually, I'm going to change this to a Word document too. So down here where it says File Type, make sure you change it from a 97/2003 version to the one at the top that says Word document. Okay? Then hit Save, and now we're converting it to the current file format. This message pops up saying that you're changing the file format to the new 2007 format, which is what we want to do. Click Do Not Ask Me Again. Click that Do Not Ask Me Again. Then go ahead and say OK. And now we are ready to begin. Okay, so what this document is, there's a company that sells walking adventures or tours or campouts or hiking, and they do it at different places, and they have different things you can do on the different walks. So this is just a promotional piece talking about what you can do on their various walks. Okay, so that we're just going to fancy it up, make it look a little bit nicer. The first thing we're going to do is click in the table, and with Word 2007, what you click on is important. So when I click in the table here, notice how a new tab opens up. And when I click off the table, notice that tab disappears. So the fact that I'm clicking in the table opens up a new tab and new opportunities for formatting that's not there if I'm not working in the table at the moment. So click in the table and come up to the Design tab. And in the Design tab, you can see some built-in or default styles we can change. And when you hold your mouse over the different ones, it gives you a little preview of what it will look like. And you can scroll down the list, or you can hit the little More button. And in any feature in Word 2007, where there's lots of options, there's a More button down here in the lower right hand corner. If I hold my mouse over it, you see it says More. When I click on it, it brings up all the list. And as you scroll over the different options, you can see in the background here, over here in the background, a little preview of what it will be. We're looking for one that's called Colorful List Accent 2. So in my version here, and yours should be the same, although it's not necessarily the case, mine's in the third column, the fifth row down, and it's this red one right here. It should say Colorful List Accent 2. Once you find it, go ahead and select it, And then notice the formatting is automatically applied and the options list closes. Alright, the next thing we're going to look at is this heading up here that says Summer at Last. So go ahead and click in where it says Summer at Last. And when you do, notice the table tab disappears and we're automatically brought back to the Home tab. When we highlight or look at this Summer at Last, we can look up at the Home tab and see that the bold button has been selected. That's telling us that the bold formatting has been applied. Now, we can in Word 2007 customize the list of buttons a little bit. This little thing up here on the title bar up here, this is called the Quick Access toolbar. And if we're going to use, say, the bold button a lot, we can take this bold button and put it up on the Quick Access toolbar by right-clicking on it. We right-click on it and we choose Add to Quick Access Toolbar. And now notice it's up here. So no matter where we are, what tab we're in, or wherever we're working on, we can always access that bold button by a single click. It's always right there ready for us. If we change our mind and say, hey, you know, we're really not going to use that bold button a lot, you can come up to the Quick Access Toolbar, right-click on it, on the button, the bold button, and choose Remove from the Quick Access Toolbar. So we can do a little bit of customizing with Word 2007. Okay, and while we're here, I'm going to show just a couple other kind of shortcuts and some other Easter eggs that we have throughout this document, or throughout Word 2007. If you look at the bottom of the page, this bar at the bottom of the page is called the status bar. And the status bar kind of tells you different things that are going on in your document. If you start over to the far left, it says page 102. So that means this page is right now, this document is 2 pages long. We're on the first page. If you click on it, and you might have to click twice, a Find and Replace dialog box opens up. And we'll come back at another time and kind of show how to use these things. Go ahead and close. Right next to that is the number of words. So this document has 626 words. If you click on that, a little box pops up and gives you the word count, the number of paragraphs and lines and characters and all kinds of stuff. The next thing down here is proofreading. It has some misspellings and some other issues that once you click on it, it'll start picking up and asking you how you want to correct it. Deselect that, and we're going to come back later and do that. Right here next to this is macros, and macros are for a different lesson. Then if you look way over here on the right side, you have the zoom feature where you can zoom in and out and get a length or a zoom that you're comfortable with. And then these buttons right here change the view of the document by changing it to, web layout is what it would look like on the internet. This is an outline version. This is a draft version. And that first version here is called page layout or print layout. And this is the version or the view we normally work in, because this is what it's going to show you when you actually print it out. But these are just other ways you can view a document. So let's show you how this works real fast. Come back to where it says page 1 of 2. Click on that to bring up the Go To box. And notice how page is selected over here. So let's just say we want to jump to the second page. Click in there and say 2, and click on Go To, and notice how the insertion point automatically jumps down to the second page. And we want to go back to page 1. You type in 1, click Go To, and now we're at the top again. Okay? Go ahead and close that. And that's just a quick way of moving around kind of larger documents. Okay, we're going to get into some editing here, some basic editing, just to kind of get familiar with where the buttons and commands are located with Word 2007. So we're going to scroll down here to the paragraph that starts Culinary Walking Adventures. And we're going to highlight the first sentence that says, Don't miss this special adventure. And a good shortcut to highlight an entire sentence is to hold down the Control key and then click anywhere in the sentence, and it highlights the entire sentence. Control click highlights the entire sentence. And we're going to go ahead and cut that. And the cut command in 2007 is on the Home tab. Home, and then right here at the beginning, cut. And we're going to go to the very end of that paragraph that ends in series of local chefs. Click after the period, hit the space bar, and then come up and hit paste underneath the Home tab. Hit paste. And then we've changed or moved that sentence down. Okay, we're going to scroll back up to page 1, and we're going to select the sentence that begins "to visit Tybee Island" right here, and it's in quote. The whole sentence is in quote. To visit Tybee Island is to discover a world, blah blah blah. Go ahead and select that paragraph, and make sure you've included the quotes. You also want to select and add the quotes, because we're going to change the style. Anytime you have something in quotes, you always want to give that a different accent so people know that it is a quote. So if we look up here on the Home tab, under the Styles section, here are different styles that can be applied. By holding your mouse over the different ones, you can get little previews. We want to hit the More button, which again is in the lower right hand corner of that list, and scroll down, and we can see all the different types of built-in styles that come with Word 2007. Since this is a quote, we want to find the quote style, and go ahead and choose that. It automatically applies the formatting to our highlighted text. In addition to creating styles for individual text, we can also create a style or a theme or a mood for the entire document. And to do that, we come over here to the Change Style button. It's a large button right there. And come down to where it says Style Set. And if we hold the mouse over, you can see the changes of the document with the different styles.